In the colorful, crossover-filled world of The Simpsons, there's one surprising partnership that slipped under the radar: the show's nods to the Far Side comics. Known for their single-panel, absurdist humor, the Far Side cartoons by Gary Larson brought quirky, sometimes bizarre humor to newspaper pages for over a decade. And in two hilarious crossover moments, The Simpsons gave this legendary comic strip its due by blending Larson's strange world with Springfield's own brand of satire. The first Far Side crossover occurred in a Halloween special, one of The Simpsons' annual Treehouse of Horror episodes, specifically a segment called the Omega Man. This parody of the Omega Man and I Am Legend sets Homer up as the last man on Earth if France retaliates against Springfield with a nuclear attack. Before the blast, we find Homer at a bomb shelter blowout sale browsing a showroom of nuclear shelters. Naturally, he's drawn to one called the Withstandinator, a model tough enough to handle a 6-megaton explosion. As Homer examines his bunker in the making, he discovers the essentials for surviving an atomic apocalypse: blankets, canned food, a radio, and a Far Side calendar. For Homer, this Gary Larson calendar is a surprising highlight. Though many viewers might find the appearance amusing, Homer's reaction hints at a real-world phenomenon that made Larson's humor famous. Back in the Far Side's heyday, some readers didn't always get Larson's brand of odd humor. In fact, according to CBR, a group called the Fellowship of the Unexplained formed specifically to petition newspapers for explanations of Larson's cartoons. In response, Larson's syndicator once provided newspapers with a quirky clarification for a cartoon featuring a cow trying to use tools, explaining that the comic was an exercise in silliness and not meant to imply cows could become carpenters. The Treehouse of Horror episode subtly winks at this by showing Homer's excitement over the Far Side calendar, though Homer, ever clueless, probably wouldn't understand the humor any better than those early confused readers. The second crossover pays homage to the Far Side in a more direct way. In another episode, a representative from Cap City Nuclear pitches their workplace to Springfield's power plant employees, explaining how it's superior to other nuclear facilities. The recruiter boasts that most companies only let workers tape Far Side comics to their desks, but at Cap City Nuclear, Gary Larson himself is on staff creating laughs in-house. In a meta moment, Larson even appears as an animated version of himself, humorously describing how he came out of retirement for the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a nuclear plant's resident cartoonist. Larson even whips up a comic on the spot for Homer, Lenny, and Carl, showing a cartoon of a lion that would surely baffle most, but Homer finally gets it. With a chuckle, he remarks, "Man, a lion would not want to see that on his X-ray." These subtle, clever Far Side moments aren't the kind of big, brash crossovers that The Simpsons has done with shows like Family Guy or Futurama, but they show how even the simplest nods to Larson's humor can add layers of wit and nostalgia to the show.